Alright, today I decided to do a horse video. Mainly because I get some comments from my clients, or I see them on Facebook. Hopefully you can hear me over the fans. But people say, well, my horse stands quiet. I don't understand why the farrier has such a hard time when, they stand quiet, and at least it seems like the horse is quiet. But what may seem like quiet to you isn't really quiet, and I'll explain. So it's a hot floor today. I'm out here, got Peekaboo over here in the cross ties, and got a reset going on where I've got to reset her all four of her feet. And I can tell you, she stands pretty quiet now. I mean, she didn't always, but she's a farrier's horse, so she got schooled pretty early on standing quietly. So if you want to look here, get a little closer here. One thing I want to focus on, I don't know if you can tell where we're at, that's her front left foot, is when I've got to bend over, right? When I have to bend over, I'm using my lower back. So that's just fine, farriers, we got strong lower backs. But if I have to also bend over and pick weight up off the ground and pick it up like this, that means that I'm straining or pulling on my lower back every time I do that. So, great example, if you watch Peekaboo here, when I go to pick her foot up, I just say, hey, let me have your foot, and then she just willingly gives it. I didn't have to strain for it. She just picked it right up for me. And I say, okay, good girl, put it back down. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a huge difference between I have to bend over and pull on it and say, give it to me, versus I just tap and say, so I'm not straining at all. I just tap and I bend over and she says, okay, here's my foot, and just gives it up to me. So it's not hard to teach your horse to do this. And it means a lot to us, because then it's just that simple. I just bend over and I say, hey, can I have it? And she gives it to me. So that's something you can try. A few other things, I tell you, it makes a big difference, and it does require you to make a purchase. So if you see this hoof stand, we all use hoof stands. Well, at least most of us do these days. And it saves us a lot of hassle. Specifically, we use a cradle on top of it. But the challenge with a hoof stand is if a horse won't keep its foot up on the stand, now I have to physically hold the hoof down on the stand and try to use two hands. And that can be a real challenge, especially it's hot. The horse is hot, the horse is sweaty, it's slippery. So you want a horse that when she gives up your foot and you just say, hey, I don't have to pull on it, she just willingly puts it up onto the stand. I should be able to stand here and just say, hey, cool girl, and do whatever I need to do without her pulling the stand over, without her jerking around or flipping it over. And that just frustrates it, because if they do, what I have to do is I have to wrap my whole body around here and hold it like this and still try to use a rasp. And that just, now I'm physically getting exerted, I'm getting tired, I'm getting exhausted. People says, hello, good girl. Okay, and the same thing when she goes to pick it up. I don't want to pick it up off the stand. I just want to pick it up, put it down. Go, good girl. And that saves your farrier a whole lot of physical strength. Exertion, I mean. A couple other things to think about. If you think about it, when I just reset her, that's a reset. That means I'm not shaping new shoes. I have a minimum of 4 times I got to pick her feet up and put them between my legs. 4 times each foot. So a minimum of 16 times I'm going to bend over and put that foot between my legs. That's just a reset. If I have to set new shoes, sometimes you can double that. Now you may think, well, big deal, 16, even if it's 25 times or 26 times. We'll do that with 3, 4, 5 horses in a day. You see how many times you've bent over. The other thing, and the only way to help that is, so what I guess, let me back up, what I was getting at is, the less number of times I have to pick the foot up, the more it saves me. So a great example, pick your horse's feet out. If you know the farrier is coming, pick their feet. That's one less time or one less second or minute I have to spend on each foot. Also, it doesn't dull my tools. These tools, I have to sharpen them constantly. As soon as you rake it through manure or mud, it dulls the tools. It's more work for me. So pick your horse's feet if the farrier is coming. bring them in, wipe them down. Don't hose their legs either, because if you hose their legs, what happens is, so our apron is designed to give us grip. It protects our legs as well against nails, but it also gives us grip. So when I put the horse's foot between my legs, that apron helps me have grip to hold the leg. If that leg is wet, or if that leg is full of fly spray, they can just slip it right out. And then I'm getting frustrated, the horse is getting frustrated. So keep the legs dry and clean, pick your horse's feet. A concrete place to work is great, and I'll show you why. Once I prep the hoof, I've trimmed the hoof and prepped it for the shoe. Look here, see how clean that foot looks? And more importantly, I can see the white line right where the nails need to go. I can see that white line. The minute it steps down in the mud, that white line's gone. It's all covered up, all the work's covered up. Now, I don't have to see it to nail, most of it's feel. I can get the shoe on there and feel, but it's nice to have that good clean foot to work with. So we don't necessarily have to have concrete, but if you got a nice clean, even if it's a few pads thrown out on level ground, it beats throwing it back into the dirt and then you're trying to rework the hoof. So those are the things, really. I mean, some of it's a little bit of a lost art, specifically just to pick their feet up. And that's something every horse should do. I teach all the babies I train, you know, you just, when I touch it, you pick your foot up and then you put it down. And they don't have to pick it up high. If they even lift their foot off an inch, oh, good baby. Let them put it back down. So then you're reinforcing what you're asking them to do. I just asked you to pick your foot up. That's it. You didn't have to hold it up, pick it up. And that eventually comes into, oh, I pick it up and I hold it up. And then you let them put it back down. So hopefully that helps. And I'm going to get back to getting Pickup done before she starts to get a little bored.